Hey friends, and welcome back. Today we are not in the kitchen. Today we are heading out to do some errands, so I figured I'd take you along with me. And first stop is a homeschool expo. I am going to be homeschooling my preschooler this fall, and we're going to start probably sooner rather than later. And just to make sure that I can actually handle it. So we are going to the homeschool expo today. I have a ton of homeschool stuff at home, but I'm really interested to listen to some of the speakers that they have. The one that I'm going into now is a class on experiential learning. So I'm really excited. So yeah, let's go in and I'll show you what's going on. I've never been here before, so let's experience it together.
Notice that your role in experiential learning is these. You are a facilitator. You're the one who's not losing track of the ultimate goal, which is that they graduate high school with a diploma that will help them do X, Y, Z. Maybe a certification to become that electrician they want.
So I did not get much footage from the homeschool expo, unfortunately, and that is because about two sessions in, I started feeling absolutely horrible. I was dizzy, I was lightheaded, I was exhausted. Things just didn't feel right. And I said, all right, I even started feeling nauseous. I was like, I need to head home. Something's not quite right here. And lo and behold, as soon as I got home, I went straight to bed because this was on a Saturday or a Sunday morning. And so I went home and I went straight to bed. And when I tell you I have never laid in bed from sickness, for so long, other than morning sickness, but I was exhausted. It was that flu, just pure exhaustion, body aches, the whole nine. It was awful. So the rest of Saturday, I was in bed. All of Sunday, I was in bed. And then this here is Monday. So my husband went to work and I was like, okay, well, I got to get up and I got to do the things. I had a couple kids home that, they were sick also. And so I was like, all right, well, I got to do what I got to do, right? The beautiful mom life. So day 3 here. And I just, oh my gosh, you can see it. I felt awful. I felt absolutely awful. I had some gross bananas and I was like, okay, I'm going to make some sourdough banana muffins and you'll see. I also tried to make these dairy and egg free so that the baby could have them because, we needed breakfast food. And you'll see at the end of this day, I ended up throwing away half of this batter, and I actually ended up throwing away the muffins because they did not come out right. And I honestly just attribute that to being sick. I could not, my mind just was not with it. I couldn't make sense of A and B, and I keep going back to my computer and looking at directions, but still I just could not hardly function. And believe me, if there had been another option of we didn't actually need something, I probably would have just, not made this and have just rested all day. But I needed to make something. So I got these, muffins going, and it ended up being a waste of time. Waste of ingredients, waste of money. You just have those days sometimes. And for me, it's when I was the sickest that I have ever been. This ended up lasting, I kid you not, weeks. I still have trouble breathing and coughing fits, lugging chicken grain up to the hen house. I'm out of breath. Even going up and down stairs, I'm still out of breath. And we're probably 3 weeks past this at this point, and I still have a lingering cough, especially when I lay down. There's just, whatever this was, it was nasty, and I would not recommend it to anyone. really the only thing I was able to even like eat or keep down. I really had like I was not hungry like at all. I wasn't hungry at all. But the only thing I was really able to like actually eat was vitamins. We were having elderberry vitamins and like vitamin C drinks, like everything I could possibly do to get vitamins in. I had way more tea than coffee because my taste and my smell had gone at this point. And so I was like, coffee is not what I want right now. So I was trying to get some honey and help my throat. And so tea ended up becoming what was necessary. So you can see at this point, I am just dragging and frustrated. And so this was the point that I actually threw away that batter because I was like, these did not come out right. And I was over it. I was not going to try and do it again. I was not going to try and fix anything. I was like, you know what? I need to just be done, go lie down. And I want to say this was during nap time also, which is why you only saw one of my kids walking around. So my other kids, you know, they were taking a nap and I was like, okay, I need to go lie down for a little bit at least. So that's exactly what I did. I went and I lay down a little bit once I got things cleaned up. And then once my husband got home from work, that was the surrender. I was like, I'm done. I just don't care anymore. Once my husband got home, I went to bed and didn't wake up until the next day. And so this is the next day and still pretty exhausted. No, this isn't the next day. He stayed home that next day and I was in bed all day. So then this is like day 5, I want to say. And I was like, okay, I'm getting a little bit of energy, but like you can see my complexion is completely off. Like I'm so red. I was going through like hot flashes, cold flashes. Like it was just awful. But I was like, okay, this, you know, as God love my husband, but you know, he doesn't clean the same way I clean. So this was a Wednesday. He had gone to work and the kids had gone to school. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get up and I'm going to clean as best I can. And you can see I got some bleach and was like, you know, we're going to bleach the heck out of this place. And while I absolutely believe in cleaning with, you know, vinegar and Dawn, which is what's usually in my cleaning spray there, the gray one in the corner, I knew we needed some bleach. So if there's any chance that it could have killed what we were all dealing with, I was going to try it, right? So I just took the time to really clean everything as best as I could. And we had chicken the night before. And so I had this chicken bone broth and some vegetables. And so I wanted to get that strained because that is just so good for you, especially when you don't feel well or when you can hardly get anything down. There's so much nutrition in that broth. And you can see watching Jamarelle. I love her videos. They lift me up. And anytime I'm doing housework type things, I'm either watching her or the WODs. I'll leave some links in the description if you want to check them out. But I just was straining, and then I got those poured into very large mason jars and popped them in the fridge, and we just like sipped from them. Like I drank those, not the whole things, but like we did a chicken noodle soup one night because, you know, again, lots of nutrition, lots of vegetables. Okay, so we are on day 6, I guess, of this saga of being sick, and my brain is still not completely with it. But so
I'm finally got enough energy to just get up and do things around the house, take care of things. I'm at the grocery store today because we still need food. So regardless of whether we're sick or not, and I need to pick up a prescription and whatnot, we did go to the walk-in clinic last night. And when I'm breathing, it feels like I've got bronchitis brewing. So that's fun. But one of the kids was tested and it came back as influenza B. So we're all like, like I said, this is day 6 for me. So past the point of, being contagious to other people, but I will still wear a mask in the store just to help, just so I'm not coughing or spitting on anything, because then I would feel awful, because this has been awful. So we are still in what I deem survival mode. The baby is now sick. So we have, I think a few days ago now, I got pizza, and it's lasted us days. Usually pizza lasts us one day. It's lasted us 3 days now. But we're to the point now that we need some other things. So I think I'm going to do some tacos or enchiladas for dinner tonight. And just gotta get a couple other necessities, and we're just gonna keep plugging along. And one of these days we're not even gonna realize it, and things are just gonna be okay, and things are going to move at a bit of a faster pace. So let's hop into the grocery store and get the few things that we need. Okay, so we just got home. I can give you a quick rundown of what we got at the store, and then we're gonna get right into dinner because it is already dinner time. So we are doing enchiladas tonight. So I got some enchilada sauce, chopped chilies, and we got some regular thick cut cheese for those of us that can have dairy, and I'm gonna make a little side of them that has this cheese so that the baby could also have them. I may actually try that as well. And then I needed coffee. Mama's back to needing coffee and being able to taste things, so I got the coffee that I like. And then we got easy breakfast that Mama doesn't have to do. Same with back here, baby safe easy breakfast for a baby that's not really eating right now. But then we've got some toilet paper because we were out. And then we've got orange juice, pumping that vitamin C. I need to do a client recipe and had to get a new zucchini because the one that I got, we got sick and it got bad. Tortilla burritos for the enchiladas tonight. I didn't even realize that there's only 8 in there, so that's hopefully it'll be enough. It'll be fine. And then I needed creamer. They didn't have my dairy-free creamer that I like. So I just grabbed that one. I'm going to put some of these sprouts on the burrito, my enchilada, instead of lettuce. The doctor last night said to try this, so we're giving that a go for myself. Cran raspberry. We need some bleach killing bacteria things in this house going on right now. So I've added that. Got some Kleenexes so that we can actually use our paper towels and our bathroom tissue for what it's meant for. Strawberries were a 2 for $5 deal today at Hannaford, so I like to stock up when we do that, and 2 is usually kind of enough for the kids, but like, let's be real, 4 of them are they're gonna be gone. I'll serve that with the enchiladas and they'll be gone. These are gone. And then this forager, if you are looking for good dairy alternatives, this is amazing. This forager is delicious, great to cook with. And then I just happened to look to see if there was a sour cream alternative, and they had it, so I'm excited to give this a try, and hopefully it'll be just as delicious as their yogurt. Really, really happy and appreciative of those dairy-free alternatives. All right, let's get cooking dinner. And forgot to mention, total was $155, pretty much $156, $155.90 for all of this here. Let me know in the comments, is that pretty on par? I mean, that toilet paper was over $30, so that was a little ridiculous. And then this Flonase was like $18. So let me know, is that like on par with what it is where you live?
So, spoiler alert, that sour cream was gross, gotta say. I love the actual yogurt, and so do my kids, but the sour cream unfortunately tasted like vegan sour cream. Like, ugh, just was not good. It just wasn't good. Like, I can't even, it just tasted so fake, just like the cheese. Like, I have not found a vegan or dairy-free cheese that actually tastes good, that doesn't taste like gross gum stuff. Like, it just, ugh, so disappointing. So the baby has very severe egg and dairy allergies, and then I'm allergic to it to the point that it gives me a really bad stomach ache, like usually for the rest of the day and sometimes into the night. Like, it's not like an anaphylaxis type of reaction, but it's, so I still eat ice cream. I pick and choose my battles, but definitely there's days that I clearly have too much dairy, and it can really wreck me. So I try to find dairy alternatives so that, for one, I can eat it and feel fine, and so the baby can eat it and there's no worry about it. And also, he's allergic to dairy to the point that if I have coffee with regular creamer in it and then I kiss him, he starts breaking out on his face. You can see it within minutes. You can see the red splotches appearing. That one isn't anaphylaxis. It's just, it's more of an irritant. And if he eats dairy, he gets super itchy for about 24 hours until it's out of his system. The egg, though, is an anaphylaxis type of reaction. And that, oh my gosh, maybe that's a story for another day. No, I'll tell it now. So our baby, we had to get $8,000 worth of allergy testing done on him because when I was nursing him, and then we started introducing solid foods, he was having reactions to everything. And it got to the point that we had no idea what we could safely feed him. And they don't usually do allergy testing on babies for until they're like 5 or something like that, something ridiculous. They don't do testing on babies. I've heard so many times, oh, it's inconclusive. I'm here to tell you it is not inconclusive. Okay, so we got to the point that I had no idea what to feed him, what would be safe. And so I went back to just nursing him, and then he was still having reactions. Lo and behold, it was because he is allergic to eggs, which I guess is pretty rare. And the severity of his egg reaction is also very rare. So I was eating omelets, and so anytime I would eat an omelet and then I would kiss him, or even just nursing him after eating an omelet, he would get the egg protein through the milk. So there was, creamer, having creamer, he would get that dairy through nursing. So it was just, oh my gosh, it was such a wild ride and so scary. And just, did you know? So thankfully, he is not vaccinated. I had a birth at a local birth house with him, so essentially the equivalent of a home birth. And so he has not gotten any vaccinations. And let me tell you, good freaking thing he hasn't, because vaccines a number of them contain egg proteins. And for one, they don't tell you that. You ask pretty much any pediatrician, any doctor, what's in this vaccine, or can you tell me the last time that this vaccine from this company was modified and has any of the ingredients changed? They cannot tell you. I asked these hard questions to our pediatrician, and they could not even find me paperwork. They couldn't tell me any of these answers. And his severity to this egg is so much that if he had gotten a vaccine, he would be a statistic. And yet at birth and within the first 3 months, they want to load them up with vaccines without even knowing what they're allergic to. Like these types of things now get me thinking and just blow my mind. And I'm just so incredibly grateful that we've become so skeptical of things. I wouldn't call us, like conspiracy theorists, but we are definitely skeptical of things now. We're cautious, and not just from him. A lot of it came from, the whole COVID-19 thing and pushing those vaccines on people and whatnot. A lot of that came from there. Most of our other kids are vaccinated, but my youngest two aren't. And, that's when we started really questioning things of why? So it's very interesting. And so that's one reason why my pre-K is going to be homeschooled. And we're also pulling 2 of our other kids from school and then leaving the other 2 for 1 more year. And we'll see what kind of comes after that. One of them I'm definitely going to pull, but one of them I'm not sure. I'm not sure because he gets a lot of services for his autism. So there's a lot of things that feel like they're up in the air, but a lot of things also kind of coming together. And I mean, that's another one of those beautiful things that, I compare it to the vaccine where, thankfully we didn't get him vaccinated. And so he's safe in that way. And then I've really had just a draw and a pull on my heart to do homeschooling for years. And I love the idea of homeschooling. But it just never really worked out to where I could actually really focus on it. And now that my husband is back to work full time, I have more time. I have more time to actually focus, and I have more time to go through curriculums and watch YouTube videos and, ask friends what they've done. And I mean, I have a ton of homeschool curriculum we did homeschooling during COVID a little bit. And when we moved, we did some homeschooling just because we were kind of in between school systems and the school year and whatnot. But, so I have a ton of curriculum, but you'll see in a future video, I ended up having to go through it and I got rid of a lot. I organized things into grades, into subjects, and started making a list of the things that I need to get, the holes that we need to fill. And I'm getting more excited about it. I'm like, okay, I know exactly what I can do. Seeing my kids grow, seeing what the school system uses in order to teach them, I'm like, okay, I can do that at home. Because as you saw in a previous video, we lost power. We had snow days and lost power for days. And we were out of snow days at that point. And so the school did remote learning. Well, looking at the things that they did for remote learning, I helped me feel more confident in being like, yeah, I I can do this. Like this looks either similar to curriculums that I have, or even the curriculums that I have look better. Even my daughter cruised through multiple days of her remote learning on day 1 and asked to do more school. And I was like, okay, we can do this. We can do this. We can make it happen. So that's the goal there. That is the current plan. The current plan is, we're in May right now. They're going to finish out the last few weeks of school. And then I'm going to pull 2 of them and, we'll take it from there. And my oldest is, she's going to be 12 this year. I can't even believe it. My oldest is going to be 12. The more I say it, the more I just can't believe it. I'm like, no, that's not right. He's going to work over at my parents' farm 1 day a week. He's such a worker. He's working on building his own wood splitting chainsaw business. And so I'm hoping to give him some lessons and encouragement in those areas. He's been running a chainsaw since he was probably 6, 7. He saved up and bought his first chainsaw, bought his own chainsaw. It's wild. And I'm sure I'm going to have a bunch of people like, oh my gosh, that's so dangerous. Like, no, my husband is there with him all the time. He's never had an accident with a chainsaw. He had an accident with an axe, but it's fine. Everything's fine. He's super careful, and he's a big kid. Like, he's super strong, so he can actually like really handle a chainsaw. My dad just got him, they just fixed up my mom's old gas-powered chainsaw, and so he's now moving from an electric chainsaw to the gas-powered chainsaw, and he's super excited about that so that he can cut bigger trees. He cut down trees and split wood and did a cord of wood for us in 2 days, which is phenomenal. He didn't use a splitter. He used an axe. He split it all by hand, cut it all at my parents and brought it back to us and stacked it for us in the woodshed. And so we have at least a cord of wood now drying for the winter, which is great because we need 3 or 4 cords to get through the winter, depending on how the winter goes. So yeah, it's just, my kids are amazing. And it's so fun when you get to figure out the things that they love to do and the things that they're good at. And, being able to homeschool gives me the opportunity to just encourage them in that and to really mold their schooling around those things. And he's definitely one that entrepreneurship is going to be a big part of his schooling because he is so creative and he gets just amazing ideas to, I can already see that he's going to be able to have a business of his own and make something amazing happen. And, some of my other kids I know are going to be that way also. Telling you all the things. What is your storage solution for Tupperware? You can see I'm just way too short. I'm way too short for any normal size kitchen, right? So one thing that I try and do is I keep all of the lids on the Tupperware, on the jars. And I know that kind of takes up some space, I'm not like really stacking them inside of each other, but then I know what has a lid and what doesn't. And as soon as something pops up, like for a couple dish cycles that doesn't have a lid or doesn't have a bottom, it gets tossed because I ain't got time to just deal with that. now we've finally moved into supper and getting the enchiladas going. I've got 2 pounds of ground beef there from my parents from a steer that they butchered, and so we've got that going, and it was still kind of frozen, so I'm letting it just kind of do its thing and thaw a bit more, and then I'll start like breaking it apart and whatnot. And then I had some red onions from a neighbor who has a CSA, and last year they had a whole bunch of red onions left over that they didn't want to sell. They were kind of a little on the squishy side, and I was like, oh, well, it's fine, we'll cut around it. And so that's exactly what I'm doing. They've been stored in our basement, and I think pickled onions are on my list of things to make. We've really been loving pickled onions on tacos. Oh, the acidity is just, oh man, it is just next level. And I don't know why, but every day I forget to make pickled onions. I think I'm like intimidated by it because I haven't made pickled onions before. But we gotta do it. So I'm adding in some cumin. I added in some salt. I think I did cumin, salt, pepper. Let's see what else I did. What is that? I don't even know what that is. I can usually tell what my, oh, you know what that is? That's garlic salt, because I think I was out of garlic, or maybe it's oregano. Nope. Can't remember. Oh, though my brain really was not very with it either. So, but that's onion powder, and that's garlic powder and chili powder. I wonder what that was. That must have been an herb of some sort. I can usually just tell by the bottles. So I think that first one that I put in that I didn't know what it was, I'm pretty sure it was an herb of some sort. So yeah, we'll just probably oregano. That would make sense. And then I am just mashing it all up, getting it cooked up, trying to get it cooked up as quickly as possible. My beautiful daughter coming over to talk to me. She loves being with Mama in the kitchen. And I swear I don't always look so mad or mean. Oh my gosh, that was like, this week was just absolutely horrible. Like, oh my gosh, so bad. I just had absolutely no energy for anything. So then I added in a can of roasted chilies, and this has become one of my like secret ingredients. Not really secret, but like one of my favorite ingredients, because it adds so much flavor, and the amount of like spice and heat that you get from them isn't the same as what you would get from like a fresh jalapeno or even like a roasted poblano. Like it's not the same. It's much more mild. So I've been kind of adding those to a lot of things just to get some extra flavor. And then I have one of those cans of enchilada sauce that went into a preheated casserole dish, and I have cast iron ones. So that's what we used there. And then I'm just rolling everything up in those tortillas, getting them nice and tight, as tight as I can, kind of like a Subway sandwich, and getting that into the casserole dish. So you want some sauce on the bottom so that these rolls don't stick, for one. And one of the biggest, characteristics of a enchilada is all of that beautiful sauce. So you really want these things swimming in it. And if you don't have the tortillas fully covered with the sauce, from what I found, they get pretty dry and crunchy, and that's just not the vibe we're going for. So I like to have mine completely covered. I know there's other people that will just kind of like cover the center and leave the edges, and they get the edges. I don't know. That's just not it for me. You could put some cheese in here, and that would also help the tortillas to stay closed. You could put rice in there. I didn't have rice, and cheese wise, I didn't want to put cheese in there because I wanted to be able to see where the cheese was, you know, for my baby. So just put them all in there, scooch it all around, and pour the rest of your sauce. So I ended up using a can on top and what was left of that first can from the bottom. Like I use that all right here, and then just use my silicone brush and wiped it all around. Make sure to get it all into the crevices, but like don't push it all down. Like you still want some of that swimming on the top. And then top it with cheese. So I've got most of it covered with regular cheese there, and then about a quarter of it covered with the vegan cheese, which I do not recommend. 0 out of 10, do not recommend. But I mean, if you want to eat it, I guess. I think I probably would have done better not having any cheese over the vegan cheese. Does anyone have any recommendations for a good vegan cheese? Because that just wasn't it. So my big boys and my husband would each get a actual big enchilada, and then I cut them in half for the ones that weren't super hungry, kind of like myself, still just really not super hungry. But this is what we had. This is what the kids had, and they were happy, especially with those strawberries. I was happy with the enchiladas. Alright, well thanks for hanging out with me this week, friends, and I think we're maybe working our way out of survival mode, which is helpful. Nothing like starting that off with some sort of, taco night, enchilada night, burrito night, whatever it is you want to call it. Let's see if we can get back into the swing of things, back into some normal everyday cooking. And don't be afraid of living in survival mode, and embrace it when you need to, because it's called survival mode for a reason, right? Alright, we'll see you guys next time. Who's happy? Yeah, you're happy? Whee! What is that? Spaceship.
I can't open.
No, it doesn't open or close. Is Godzilla gonna get it?
Kong's going to get this axe.
Oh, Kong's gonna get it with his axe.